Hello everyone, so apologies for randomly uploading a video on Monday. I don't usually do this, but there's a few issues I thought I should talk about and a few things I should advise people of. They don't really fit in any of the standard formats, even a Fun Friday, so here we are. Two of which are good news and the other one is maybe sort of good news. First of all, there's a new museum open in Portsmouth Historic Dockyard over in the UK, if you happen to be over here. It's open for the next couple of years in the galleries, and it's called World Beneath the Waves. And that's looking at the history of undersea exploration, particularly obviously with a focus on the Royal Navy, starting out with the HMS Challenger expedition way back when, and going forward to the present day. You can also meet Boaty McBoatface, for those of you who remember that fun little naming controversy a few years ago. Actual Boaty McBoatface is now available to have a look and see, and if you go onto the website, there's also a little competition related to him, a little survey drone, when they decided they weren't going to name an entire ship's Boaty McBoatface, which is a little bit of a shame, really. Anyway, also related to Portsmouth Historic Dockyard, I'm going to be doing a tour of some of the exhibits in Portsmouth Historic Dockyard. So if you go to my website, that's drachinifel.co.uk, a link in most video descriptions on this channel, you can go to the Meeting Drach page and you'll find this bit just here. And if you would like to come and meet me and take a tour of, we're hoping, HMS Warrior and HMS Victory, and if time allows, and or something happens to one of the other two ships, the Mary Rose, then come down to Portsmouth Historic Dockyard on November the 4th, 2022. In order to sign up, all you have to do is when you go to the website, just click on that little button that you can see on the screen here, and that will generate an email, which you can then send to me, and then I can send you back the relevant details. It's not really a huge amount of additional details, essentially just dress appropriately for the weather and make sure you pre-book your admission ticket, a few other minor bits and pieces, but we'll meet outside the gates just before 10 a.m. and start off with HMS Warrior, work our way over, as I said, to HMS Victory, and then see where we go from there. The only cost to you subscribers will be, obviously, you have to buy your admission ticket and you have to get there somehow. But by clicking the email, then I know how many people are coming, because obviously I can't take a party of 60 aboard the ships. You wouldn't be able to hear me at the back anyway, and I think the dockyard might get a little bit scared. So there is a soft cap on numbers if we happen to hit that many. But right now, places are still available. And now we have to come on to the bit that's perhaps a little less fun to talk about, and that is the theme music for the Wednesday and Saturday videos, so the 5-minute guides and the rum rations. Now, most of you have noticed that the theme music in the last couple of months has changed, and changes almost with every other video. There is a good reason for this. Some of you have been commenting as well, but we want the old music back. Well, yeah, I'd dearly love to have the old music back, but that's not really an option anymore. So, for those of you who missed the community post about it or whatever, allow me to explain. The theme music has been the theme music of the channel for pretty much as long as the channel has existed. Now, the track itself is called Out of War, and it's by an artist called Ender Gooney, I think that's how it's pronounced. And he released this track years ago, completely copyright free. And if you Google search Out of War, Ender Gooney, you'll find it's hosted on a variety of places, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, etc., etc., and it's explicitly made clear in every single one of those places by the artist that this track is copyright free and people can use it in their video productions, which is, of course, what I did as a kind of themed song. Unfortunately, about a year ago, a honestly pretty terrible and very unprofessional digital rights management or copyright enforcement company, whatever you want to call them, decided they were going to get involved. They somehow have got themselves into a position where they're managing the copyright for Ender Gooney's works. Now, to be fair, the guy does produce a bunch of music which he explicitly does want to keep copyright over, which is entirely fair. It's his music. He can do what he likes with it. However, this particular company decided pretty much apropos of nothing, that they were going to start enforcing copyright on everything, including the works that are out there and listed explicitly as copyright free. And they decided to announce this by starting to put copyright strikes on various videos that used this as the introduction. So they were copyright striking gradually, pretty much every 5-minute guide and every Wednesday video. Now, of course, I challenged this and said, look, via the YouTube challenge system, I said, look, all of the various places this music is distributed, make it explicitly clear that this is copyright free and I can use it. And they rejected those challenges. So I got into direct email contact with them, where they essentially refused to listen to anything I said and said, oh, no, none of that is relevant. We have decided that copyright is enforceable on this. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not how any of this works. But there you go. And after 2 or 3 email exchanges, they then changed their tune and said, oh, well, actually, no, you have to pay a license fee. And at that point, I was so sick and tired of the whole issue, I said to them, well, actually, okay, fine. What is this license fee? Because you mention it, but you don't say how much it is, who you have to pay it to, how does it work, etc., etc. They refused to answer any of those questions. They mentioned, oh, you have to pay the license fee 1 or twice more, and then just flat out stopped responding to emails. So at that point, even if I'd wanted to pay a license fee, which as I said, I don't know how much they wanted, I don't know who they wanted it paying to, regardless of the fact that it's completely invalid anyway, because the aforementioned music is copyright free, they weren't even communicating. So I went and managed to find the original artist and his team of people that work for him, and I communicated directly with them. And after a bit of back and forth, they were very supportive of me using the track. They apologized for the issues. They had a word with this DRM company, and they said, okay, well, we've told them to basically knock it off, so escalate the challenges and it should all be sorted, which I did. They stopped copyright striking pre-existing videos, and the challenges that were open at that point were dropped. Fantastic. Now, those of you who are in any way familiar with the way the YouTube copyright system works will know that these kind of companies, they can put channels that have a license or permission or whatever you want to put it to use certain music on a whitelist. And, you know, I've had this issue very briefly before with the Fun Friday videos, because that music is also royalty-free, copyright-free, under sort of open license. And once a Fun Friday video got hit by a different company, I escalated it, sent them a copy of the license I have for that music, and they said, okay, fine, release the claim, and they've never troubled me again. These guys, however, apparently don't even know how to run a copyright monitoring system properly, because every single time I uploaded a Wednesday or a Saturday video, it would get a claim. And every single time I would then have to challenge that claim, which is why I have to pre-upload the video, because then it gives me a couple of days to sort it out. Challenge the claim. I wrote a standard bit of text which I would copy and paste into every claim, which was essentially, look, we've already been over this. The artist team has been in contact with you. Here's a copy of the correspondence. I'm allowed to use this music. It's copyright free. Release the claim. And although this was very irritating, for about a year or so, it was a vaguely workable system. Until a couple of months-ish ago, 2-3 months ago, they suddenly decided they were going to reject these challenges and escalate it up the system again. And I was a bit concerned, because I thought, well, they've got the same response they've got from all the other ones with a copy of the correspondence from the artist, so what's their problem now? I sent them several emails to try and work out what the issue was, and once again, in an extremely unprofessional manner, they flat out refused to respond to any of them. So I went back to talk to the original artist team. Now, I stress again, this is absolutely no knock on Endaguni himself, the artist. He does really good work. He seems to be a perfectly stand-up chap. I've just never actually got to talk to him. I've never got further than the team that work for him. And when I spoke to the team, I said, look, this is happening again. reference our previous correspondence? Can you tell this DRM company to knock it off again? But now they changed their tune. Now they are all of a sudden, oh no, we can't get involved with any of their activities at all, and you have to talk to them directly. And I said, well, I have tried to talk to them. They're just not responding to any communication I sent to them via any means. At which point they said, oh, well, in that case, can we suggest you use music from this list? And gave me a list of other music that is published by them. And I said, well, I could, in theory, do that going forward, but that doesn't resolve the current outstanding claims issues for this music, which is explicitly listed as copyright free. And they said, oh, yeah, but we can't get involved in that, so sorry. At which point, what am I supposed to do? If I keep using that music track, it's going to get struck again and again and again, and this DRM company have now seemed to indicate they're not even going to listen to what the artists themselves are saying, and potentially, from the sounds of it, reading between the lines, maybe they've put pressure on the artist team to allow them to essentially extort money from people who are using music that is, by every single publicly visible account, published copyright free. And so by threatening to escalate it off of even YouTube and into full-on solicitors action, I was able to get them to back off of the videos where they'd rejected my challenges the first time round. But I can't really in good faith continue to use that track because, as I said, they're going to keep on doing this. And I have neither the time nor the inclination to involve myself in an international dispute over something that should be fairly clear-cut, but, some people are just morons and act that way. Which is a real shame because, as I said, the artists themselves, perfectly fine, really talented musician, just unfortunately seems to be being held hostage by this incredibly inept DRM company. And for those of you who are saying, oh, you should name and shame them, well, given that they're already not following the law and given that they clearly don't understand how any of this actually works, I'd rather not start a bunch of internet beef with them because they can then potentially abuse the YouTube copyright system to claim all of the videos that have previously used the copyright-free music, which will then lead to me either having bad things happen to the channel with that many claims, or, I'd have to remove the intro section from every single video that I've uploaded prior to a couple of months ago. Neither of which is particularly fun, at least when it comes to the Wednesday and Saturday videos. And so to be absolutely 100% clear, to a few of you who have made comments in various videos where I've tried to explain this in the comments, this isn't about royalties, this isn't about license fees, this is a music track that's been published by the original artist as copyright-free, easily verifiable by any quick Google search. And even then, if they turned around and said, actually, we've changed our minds, we want a license fee or royalty fee or whatever, and they were reasonable about it, I would have, to be honest, just to make things go away, been happy to sort out some kind of deal with them, but they just refuse to correspond with me, and they refuse to actually put in concrete terms any of their demands. They just seem perfectly happy to exist in seizing money off of people's videos. Although, as I've said, the challenges I put in prior to them escalating again were all successful, so don't worry, they haven't got a penny off of me yet. So, where does that leave us going forward? Well, as you will have noticed in the last couple of months, I've been alternating different extracts of music from two or three different sources in the Wednesday and Saturday videos. So you've got the Admiral Drach arriving track, which was very kindly made for me by a subscriber, and which I own the full copyright to, thanks to them. And there's also a couple of pieces, Legionnaire and Juggernaut by Scott Buckley. I've got two different sections extracted from Legionnaire, which I've been using, and one section extracted from Juggernaut. So you've essentially had a rotating program of 4 different sets of theme music. And what I'm planning on doing at the end of this week, so on Friday, I will be putting up a community post with a poll, which will also have a embedded video in there. And what I'm going to be doing is putting each of the music tracks that I've used so far in their introduction format all into that video. So currently that'll be 4. And they'll be in the 30-second format and also in a shorter 10 to 15-second format. I haven't decided exactly what length it'll be, but a considerably shorter one. And I'll maybe throw in 1 or 2 others if anyone has any additional suggestions. Obviously, drop an email to me or Discord message or something. The only restrictions, of course, being that if you're going to suggest a music track for me to use as an introduction music piece, it has to be explicitly copyright free, like the Scott Buckley tracks are, with attribution in the video descriptions, or license free or royalty free or whatever the term actually is. And obviously vaguely on theme with the way the introduction music has been previously. So in any case, what the poll on Friday will ask you for is essentially to decide 3 things. The first thing will be, should I have a separate theme music for the 5-minute guides and a separate one for the Wednesday videos, because previously it was the same music? Then it will be a case of, should either the theme music or one or the other or both, if we go with 2 separate ones or whatever, should they be in a 30-second format or in a shorter 10 to 15-second format? So you get to decide that as well. And then lastly, of course, will be, which music should I use? So obviously, if you want to just have one bit of theme music for both Saturday and Wednesday videos, the 5-minute guides on the rum rations, then it'll just be this music track at whatever length you want it to be at, and we'll go from there. Alternatively, obviously, if you want there to be 2 separate tracks, one for each video type, then obviously you have to vote for 2 separate tracks and in theory 2 separate lengths, because who knows, you might want a 10 to 15 second intro for the 5-minute guides and the full 30 seconds on the rum rations. I don't know. This will be over to you guys. And then I'll look at the poll, I'll process the poll and work out what everybody's asked for, and hopefully that will resolve and smooth everything over. So then going forward, we should have a consistent either theme music or set of theme musics for the Wednesday and Saturday videos from now on. And if in the future there's a particularly good option to switch over to, then obviously, again, I'd put that to a poll for people to vote on before any changes were made. But in the current circumstances, I had to do some quick changes. But hopefully you've had an appropriate amount of time listening to the different types of music intro, and you can decide which one you want. And finally, of course, once again, unfortunately, I can't bring back the old one. So with all that said and done, thank you very much for listening to this slightly random impromptu update. I hope you're enjoying your week, and I hope everyone's looking forward to this Wednesday's video, because this Wednesday's video will be looking at the Royal Navy's fleet exercises in the interwar period. So it's kind of a complementary thing to the US Navy Fleet Problems series we did a little while back. Anyway, bye for now.